6 months ago, I started a property course in Dublin with no connection, zero experience, and no idea of how this actually works. And 1 month ago, I also started working in a lettings and block management agency here in Galway at the same time. And in this video, I'm going to tell you everything about how the college works, what the industry is like so far from me, and what the job has taught me in the past 30 days. And also about the things that nobody wants to talk about, the doubts, the hardships, and the questioning if this is actually the right path for me. So let's get stuck into this. So quick context if you're new here, my name is Dominic Balog and I study property in TU Tala every Saturday part-time. Some classes are online, some classes are physical. We'll get into that. But the main thing is it's a 2-year course. And basically after that, I can sell, manage, let, and also auction property and land. And while I'm doing that, I'm also working as a property operations administrator in a letting and block management agency here in Galway. So I'm doing both at the same time. I'm learning about the industry and I'm working in the industry, trying to put everything I learn into the physical practice. So I decided early on to document in this journey of starting as a property novice to becoming a fully property professional. So I'm documenting the whole journey here, the college, the job, the brand, and all that comes as part of it. I want to give you the full picture of where I am after 6 months of college and 1 month working in the lettings agency. So let's start with the college. I'm 6 months in now, semester 2, year 1 at TU Tala. And I want to break this down honestly because I had a picture in my head of what this course would actually be like, and it turned out to be completely different. So yeah, let's break this down. So the course covers a much more ground than I actually expected in the start. We're covering things as property law, we're doing valuations, we're doing economics, housing construction, planning development, and a few other modules as well, which we'll talk about, and it's generally broad. So what I didn't expect is how much actually law is involved here. It's not that you just need to know the law in the property world, but you also need to know how the other laws work as well. Because at the end of the day, you are working with the public. So there's things that will come up every day, each day in terms of law that would actually impact your job and you as a property professional. So we go into actual legislations, the Irish law, the EU law. You'll be talking about the landlord and tenant law. You'd also be going into planning acts. So there's a lot of ground that is covered within the law module. In general, all modules are pretty much stacked because you have one class per week, which usually involves 2 modules. And in the one semester, you have 4 modules. So you have 2 modules 1 week and 2 modules the other week. So for example, let's say you have sales and marketing and law, and then the following week you have property valuations and economics. So, this would run per semester. And then like for now, example, I'm in semester 2, I have 4 different modules. Again, some of it is continuation and, going much deeper into those modules. Like right now, we're learning about law and it's more in the industry, actually, how the industry works, where in semester 1, it was more about how the actual law works around it, where now we're talking about how the law works in it, if you know what I mean. So the bit that actually surprised me is how quickly the workload actually comes on top of you. So I remember when we started in September, we would be getting into kind of the college vibe and we would be learning about the modules, getting introduced to it. And I think it was like the second or third week, we're already trying to work on the assignments and like you have no clue or idea if you haven't worked in the industry of how any of this works. And they would be you would be asked to do assignments on these topics, and you would have maybe like a month to complete these. And it's quite tough when you're trying to balance a job and also trying to study and trying to do the college on the Saturdays, and then also doing the assignments as well. Yeah, it comes actually thick and fast, and it can be quite stressful and challenging, especially when you're like being new to college, like in my case. So yeah, was quite surprising to me. So what a typical week looks like as a college student in property doing it part time, right? My week looks like this. So from Monday to Friday, I work in the agency, and on Saturdays, I'm in college. And in between that, I'm trying to do assignments, study, and film content. So college is one full day on a Saturday. Most of the classes are actually virtual, which is great. There's perks and cons. We're going to talk about them. And some of the classes are also physical. Now, the physical ones are also great, and they also have their cons. So let's start with the virtual ones, right? So you're in the comfort of your home. There is no travel, which is great because I live 2 hours from Dublin. So that could be quite challenging. And I can go to the gym before college, which helps me actually concentrate. And then I have everything set up here in my study room, and I can just come in, set the laptop, and yeah, just listen to that, which could be an issue because, you're in the comfort of your home, you're comfortable. It can sometimes be that you're kind of zoning out, you have your phone around you. And yeah, it can be quite challenging sometimes to concentrate. Now, the physical classes are great because they're very interactive. You see the lecturers, you see everybody, and yeah, you just focus, and it is much more interactive. And also, you get to meet everybody in the college who are on the same path like you. You get to interact, network, which is absolutely amazing. But the hard part about it is, especially for me, it's a long travel. So I do 2 hours to college and 2 hours back. And by the time you get home, you are just drained. Like there's times when you have to do it almost every week, especially coming up to the exams. And yeah, that would be quite draining. But the great thing about this course that it is just one day a week. So it allows you to work, make money. And that's the great thing about it. So what I notice is the people that struggle in this course, and I'm one of them, or I was one of them, is the ones who leave everything till last minute. So like it is one class a week, but you have to do the work during the week or you're going to fall behind. Falling behind on assignments, you're falling behind on the actual theory. And yeah, like exams come real fast. And if you're not staying on top of it, you just got to catch up. And it's a real struggle, especially with having a job. It can be quite tough. What I would wish to know before starting this course. So take a lot of notes. Take a lot of notes in class, on the campus, and on the virtual, and also during the week when things come to you, when you're studying a certain module, certain topic. Take as many notes as you can because it does help. Now, there's some words and stuff that you might not be basically used to, especially in the law. There are certain words there, so you would have to put things into your own notes, and other modules as well. It wouldn't be just law, but law especially. So secondly, build relationship, get to know people in the course. you know you're going to be on this journey together for the next 2 years. And at the end of the day, these people are going to be in your industry. You're all going to be professionals working together at some stage. So get to know everybody, and yeah, just build your network really, because there's some amazing people in this course, and it will be a shame not to know these people in the future, or when you are in college, you never know where the relationship could go. And third is actually build out a routine. It's quite tough when you don't have a routine, when you're working Monday to Friday, you have college on the Saturday, and then you just have one day free. And most of that day is actually trying to catch up on your own life with your people, and it can be quite tough actually living like that for a long period of time, right? Because there's only certain times of the year that you're off college, and during those times a lot of the time you're spending on college anyways, because you're trying to do assignments and you're also studying for the exams. So building out a routine where you take care of yourself, your mind, your body. Like for me, it's going to the gym, doing other reading than just the college work, going for walks and having a good diet. So all this stuff helps you in order to perform at your best in terms of the results at college, at work. So yeah, really having a strong routine really, really, really benefits you in the busy schedule. Okay, so now about the job, right? So I'm working in a lettings agency, and honestly, before I worked in the letting agency, I did a few of work placement sessions, which I really appreciated, with one of the sales agents here in Galway. And he really taught me so much. And now I'm learning so much, being in the agency from Monday to Friday for the past 4 weeks. I've had learned tons. Like stuff is actually sticking to me now in terms of learning things at college and putting those things into practice that I really, really think wouldn't be as effective for me, or as, being able to remember these things if I wasn't putting them into practice. Now, the gap between the college and the job itself, it's big. There's things that you won't learn in college that you will learn in the actual industry. But that comes with every course and every learning. It's just the way it works. You always learn more on the job than you do in the college as well. But the actual college helps you to learn about the industry and know the legislations and know the process. And then the job itself actually gives you the context. So then when you're in a class and a tutor is talking about a certain topic, you understand it because you were already there, you've seen it, you were dealing with it. You can relate to a specific moment in the job that this certain scenario kind of happened. So it completely changes of how you think about this industry, and completely changes the whole actual course for you. Because before I did this, I didn't have the same context. So things didn't make sense to me. And now that I'm in the industry for the past month, I'm like, wow, okay, this makes so much more sense than it did before. And especially being in semester 2 now as well, going deeper into the actual operations of the property industry, it's really, really made a difference for me. Also, at the end of the day, this industry is mainly about people. This is a people business. You're serving the public, being able to negotiate, talk people's language, deal with queries and challenges. It's all about the people. So you need to have a level of communication and negotiation skills in order to actually work in this industry. Now, for me, it's quite easier because I worked in a lot of customer service based businesses. I also had my own business before. So I dealt with queries, challenges, customer service. I was already there. So for me, it was a little bit more easier, but certainly I'm not finished in learning about all of these topics, and the customer service and the sales and the whole package that comes with the people's business, because this is a people business at the end of the day. So yeah, it's definitely more about the people than anything else. So what the job has taught me that college hasn't. So mainly it's the operations, how things actually work, works, how the legislations and the processes are put into works. And you'll find this in, different agencies work different ways. Everybody has their own systems, everybody has their own process, but mainly it's how the operations work and the amount of, especially in a lettings agency, the amount of challenges and customer queries you have to work with, you have to solve, you have to operate. There's a lot of admin in this role, especially me working as a property operations admin. But I know from speaking to other agents that it is quite admin based role. You have to keep track of things or you will quickly lose sight because this is a very fast business. It's highly paced business. You need to have a level of being able to take pressure and take stress because you have a lot of unhappy people to deal with, and it can be quite stressful sometimes. So you need a level of actually being able to handle the pressure. And I think that's what actually the college is trying to prepare you, but you don't see it until you're in it, if you know what I mean. So for me, it's a little bit more easier because as I said, I worked in those service high paced roles. I dealt with a lot of pressure, especially when I had my own digital marketing agency. I dealt with, certain individuals that, you had to manage, and that makes things a little bit easier for me. But yeah, it's definitely very pressure based position to be in as a as a property agent, as a property professional. So that's something that really the job has taught me that the college hasn't. So like for example, you would be learning about these things in college of, dealing with landlords and dealing with tenants, and it's all these words and all this stuff that you have to, you know, follow and process and things like that. And then you would actually be in the role and, you'd have five, six different queries coming at you. You have emails, you have phone calls, you have meetings you have to be in, and it's all well learning about it, but when you're actually in it, it's a different level of stress, and yeah, it's a different ball game, if you know what I mean. So I've also learned in the role that I am in now, and I'm very blessed to be in the position that I am, because I really really think that this in this agency that I'm set up for success, right? I'm in a role where, I'm learning so much on the role, and, everything's been explained to me, and the training that I'm getting is amazing. And I feel really grateful for that, for the position that I'm in. But I think that in this type of industry, with it being stressful and high paced and a lot of volume, and it is mentally challenging for sure. You really, really need to be careful of what agency and who you're working for and who you working with, because this is all about environment, the environment that you're in. And this is what I'm kind of seeing from being in this industry for a month now. It really really shows of the environment that you are in, because you need to perform at your best level in order to succeed in this industry, because at the end of the day, it's all commission, it's all performance. And it's really important that you work in a good culture with people who have good morals. And like I said, I'm very blessed to be in the position. Yeah, that's definitely one of the things that impressed me as well. And that kind of just basically ticks something in my head of, this is more important than more than likely than anything else, because who you surround yourself is who you're going to be. So yeah, I just think that's really important. So I genuinely recommend for people who are studying this type of course to, or who are thinking about going into this course, to really try to get some type of a role, part-time role, full-time role, some work experience in an agency, because you will really benefit from it, and things will work out for you in a much better way, having the actual context of it and how it actually works. It makes such a difference. So I definitely recommend it to people to try to land a role and do their best. It can be challenging to land a role like this. Like I said, I was very fortunate and very blessed in order to get this position. But, before that, I actually failed 2 or 3 times before I got this role. So, yeah, you have to really go for it. And if you want it, I believe that you will get it at some stage. So yeah, just try to do your best to land this role. Okay, so here is the fun part. So here is where we actually really, really get into how this whole thing works, because it can be quite challenging. I'm not going to lie to you. There's been days where, I was like, why do I even bother? Because, a lot of things come at you out of nowhere. I'm talking about, let's say, for example, I just bought a property with my partner who's actually in the course as well, and she's loving it. And I'll try to get her on one of the sessions here with me on the channel. But yeah, it can be quite challenging when, you're made such a big move of, buying a property and renovating and sticking all your funds that you have into it, and then paying for the college and paying for the fees. And it's not just that, like, the fuels, and like I'll be spending like 100 quid every single time I go to Dublin. And sometimes I go 2, 3, 4 times a month. So yeah, it can be quite challenging in terms of financially. And then the things like assignments, and especially if you haven't done in college before, like me, and there's other people there and there. And it's challenging for everybody in different ways. I never went to college. I never even wanted to go to college in the first place. Somehow this just kind of landed in my lap. Yeah, it will be challenging in how to figure out actually how all of this works, and trying to do the assignments and going into the exams, not sitting exams for the past 10 years or so. So that will be quite be challenging, and just balancing everything, like balancing work, balancing college, let's say you have a partner, balancing that. Now, me, luckily, my girlfriend, she's also in this course as well. So we spend a lot of time together. But sometimes we will be going, like, especially when it's like assignment heavy month or exam heavy month, it, the relationship will be just about college and work and assignments and exams. So it can be quite challenging, this course. And it is just for 2 years. So that's kind of what I think about is, it's just for 2 years. So it's all good. Like, we'll get through this. And at the end of the day, it's like, what else you going to do? Like, I could be spending the next 2 years basically wasting my time and not taking action and not working towards anything. So at the end of the day, that's kind of what keeps me going. So you need to have your why of why you're doing this, and building that routine, like I said earlier, because that will really, really help you perform, and it makes a big difference for you. And there's things that take us a step back, like, family, for example. I don't see my family very often anymore. And even though they, some of them live a few minutes away from me, there's not much time. I try to make as much time as I can, but, that can take a step back. Content, I want to shoot more content. And sometimes I can, because, there's other things that I need to concentrate on, and some things that I need to put, ahead. So yeah, you got to prioritize a lot. And some things fall behind, unfortunately, but you always can make up for it. So you got to look at it from different sides of, that's just part of it, basically. And what I learned is that you can't do everything perfectly. There's things that will work better one week than they do the other week. So yeah, you just got to roll with it, really. So One of the other struggles would be also like the imposter feeling, right? So basically, I feel like you don't belong and can be you're in a new role and you're surrounded by people who are in the industry and they know much more than you and you're trying to kind of get the grasp of things and you're basically a novice. So it can be quite challenging sometimes, especially if you're, let's say, creating content and you're trying to build your brand and you're talking about certain things and you can say things like to yourself that like who are you talking to because you don't have the right to talk to anybody about this because you don't know anything about it. But like I said, I'm just trying to document this journey and kind of document of where I can get and how far I can get and who I can become. So that's the main reason why I'm doing this. And I'm putting content out there and I'm not even qualified yet, but I just told myself, I'm here not claiming that, I'm a experienced professional or anything like that. So I'm here to document the journey, like I said. And yeah, I'm just trying to see where this goes. And I just see that to be amazing thing about it. And, looking back at this and seeing how far I can get. So yeah, let's see what happens. If you're watching this and you're in the middle of, starting a new course or a new job or anything that's hard, and it feels like it's too much, the feeling is normal. It doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. And this is not a motivational video, but yeah, I just wanted to mention that. So after 6 months and 1 month working in the industry, so here's what I actually know that I didn't know in September. So one, property is a relationship industry first and technical industry second. So the law, the valuations, the process matters. But at the end of the day, this is a people's business. People choose who they trust. And building trust takes time before you're even qualified. So two, the gap between the job and the college is real, but the gap closes faster than you actually think. So every week I'm connecting something that I learned in college that I'm doing at work and things are actually starting to click. Three, building in public before you are qualified is advantage, not a disadvantage. Being the person who documented the journey of becoming the person is much more interesting than just popping up and being the person. The hardest weeks are the most important ones because that's the most when you learn about the industry, yourself, and if you're actually able to handle the stress levels and the pace of this industry. And five, being able to be a good communicator is such a key. I mentioned this already, but yeah, communications and having people skills is really, really beneficial in this industry. And I'm glad that I went through all the customer based roles in the past because they're really beneficial to me right now. So that's where I'm right now, 6 months in college and 1 month in the property operations role in the agency. And I'm fully committed into documenting as I go. If you think about into getting property, whether that's doing the course or getting into an agent or just trying to understand the market better, I want this channel to be the place that you come. Subscribe if you want to follow the journey. I'm trying to post every week college updates, things I'm learning about at work, honest check-ins with and content that actually breaks things down in the property world without the jargon. Drop a comment below. Are you in property? Are you studying for it? Are you thinking about it? I read every single one and I would love to know where you are at. This video was useful. Share with somebody who's thinking about getting into the property industry. It generally helps more than you think. I'll see you in the next one.